You're listening to Business Stories with Ryan Arcaracci, where I speak to business professionals from all walks of life. Thanks for listening, and let's get to it. Hey, everybody. It's good to have you with us. If you are a potential new franchise owner, you're considering buying a franchise, or even just starting a small business, whether it's a restaurant or any other kind of retail location, you are going to want to listen to all three parts of a three-part series. Today is part one, and I want to welcome my new guest, John Lee, founder and CEO of Impact Marketing Services. He's got 30 years of experience with franchises and small businesses. He's helped over 6,000 franchisees. So John is no newbie to the industry. John, thanks for being here and welcome.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. It's great to be with you. Thank you for the opportunity to convey this, what I feel is an all-important message to franchisors, particularly emerging brand franchisors and their franchisees. I think this is a message that really needs to hit the hearts of a lot of people. I'd like to just kind of relate, just if I could, just for a moment.
Sure.
After I got my MBA, I worked on the corporate side, the Coleman Company, those lanterns and stoves. I was one of their many marketing managers.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to get into the advertising agency business, which I did. And I worked for a large agency in Kansas City, and our client was Pizza Hut. We were one of the largest, or the largest, regional agency for Pizza Hut. We had a 7-state area and $7 million annual budget. So, and worked on that account as account supervisor for about 2 or 3 years. And I noticed what was somewhat disheartening to me was the agency, they wanted to produce the television commercials and the radio commercials and, the expensive projects. However, I found that I felt that the message really did not filter down to the store level, the individual franchisees.
Right.
And, I just felt that, a lot of these franchisees, they have their life savings on the line. They have their financial necks on the line. And,
right.
That's, if franchisee doesn't make it, nobody makes it. So I really started paying attention to the individual franchisees. And so to the point that I developed the Pizza Hut's first local store marketing program and their first LSM manual. And I presented it at the regional advertising co-op meetings. And this is at a time when Godfather's was coming on board and Domino's, and, Pizza Hut was getting a lot of competition. So They needed some additional help. So I put together this local store marketing program, presented it to the co-ops, went to individual franchisees in our region and went through the manual with them. And after about 6 months, we saw an increase in our region of those stores, increase in sales of 22 to 26% and up to 30% in some markets, in just 6 months. So
wow.
The program was well received. It carried on. And it also proved to me that, man, that's where it's at. The franchisees, if the franchisee doesn't make it, then we're all in trouble. And I want to make that point, especially to the emerging brands where you have 4 or 5 or maybe 10 franchisees out there. It's just absolutely critical that your current franchisees be as successful as possible, have as many orders or as many customers as possible and increase sales so that they give good validation to the new prospects coming on board. If you don't have that element for an emerging brand, you're just not going to succeed. And so I'm really focused on helping those franchisees, current franchisees that are underperforming. We have what we call a life raft marketing program to help them achieve higher levels of customer counts and sales. But primarily, we want to help the new franchisees, those new franchisees that are opening new businesses. It's a brick and mortar or a fast casual fast food restaurant or a fitness center or an automotive aftermarket type client, or if it's a non-brick and mortar, if it's a home-based business or home improvement business. So the basics are the same. That franchisee has to succeed, and that's what our program is about. That's what our opening launch and grand opening marketing program is about. I started Impact Marketing Services 30 years ago to exclusively work with franchise organizations and to work directly with their franchisees. And that was over 30 years ago. We've been blessed to work with over 6,000 franchisees. So I think it's been a very successful venture. And it's been a very, very productive, and it's been a very enjoyable journey.
Right.
The opening launch program, it requires minimal time. We develop and implement the program, which requires very little time by the franchisor or by the franchisee. We manage all of these moving parts for the pre-opening and the soft opening and the grand opening. Our team manages all of these moving parts. So again, it requires very little time by the franchisee or by the franchisor. And so I think that's what helps differentiate ourselves from other marketing companies.
Right.
While the franchisee is focusing on the build out of that business, if it's a gym, like a Title Boxing Club, or if it's a fast casual restaurant, it doesn't matter. The franchisee has to focus on the build out, getting the equipment in, hiring the staff. They just don't have time to deal with the marketing. And if they did, they're not marketing experts anyway. So they should be dealing with getting that store open or getting that business open on time. And in the background, let our team handle all of the marketing, develop the marketing plan, start getting people, building a demand for that business before the business ever opens the doors. And so I think it's absolutely critical. That's why we use the phrase, we grow franchise brands in local markets with local store marketing programs that work. Yeah. Another point for the franchisor is that there is no cost to corporate. There's no need for corporate to hire additional marketing staff. Our team can be considered as your marketing department. We'll handle all the details in developing and implementing the program for your new franchisees. Our goal is to get all those new franchisees to break even as quickly as possible. Once they achieve financial break even, then the store has a life of its own, so to speak. And all the expenses are paid and the bills are paid, and the franchisee can start making a little bit of money for themselves. So that's the first primary goal for a new franchise, is to get it to break even. And when we started working with mailboxes, et cetera, we worked with them for about 13 years. We started working with them. Those stores weren't breaking even until 8 to 10 to 12 months. And once we started working with those new stores in Atlanta and the Southwest as a test market, those mailboxes, et cetera, stores started breaking even in 3 to 4 months. Yeah. So we have quite a story to tell of success with our opening launch program. Right. And, the types of franchises that we work with, as I mentioned, we work with fast casual, quick service restaurants. We work with fitness clubs. We're in the automotive aftermarket business. And we work with home-based businesses, home improvement businesses, and so forth.
So let me ask you this, because this is, one thing I think is overlooked is that people think that I'm going to open my doors and I'm going to start marketing when I open. And what they don't realize, and which you've taught us and you've taught me, is that you really have to kick off your marketing a good 4 to 6 months prior to actually opening your door, to get the local community aware of what's going on. And I know from being a consumer myself, if I'm driving around and I see a grand opening sign, that typically piques my curiosity, especially if it's a place that I'm excited to try out. If it's a food I like or something. And my wife and I see it all the time. We drive around and we'll see a new grand opening sign and a new restaurant. If it's a new restaurant, we'll go check it out. That's for sure. So what do you do as far as the strategy goes prior to actually opening,
Well,
opening doors?
that's a real good point. You said a key word, curiosity.
Yeah.
Anytime, as far as I'm concerned, when the franchisee signs the lease for that space, may it be
Right.
a fitness club or a restaurant or whatever, once they sign the lease for that space and they have the keys to the front door, that is exactly the time the marketing needs to begin.
Right.
We need to begin developing the plan, and we have a very what that differentiates us from many other marketing companies is that we have a very aggressive pre-opening campaign.
Mhm.
We want there to be that curiosity. Anytime there's a retail space that says coming soon, but you don't know what it is, everyone's curious as what's going in there, what kind of products and services, what are they going to serve to eat, and that
Right.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the curiosity factor is very high in these communities, and we want to capitalize on that curiosity factor.
Right.
And we have a unique way of doing that. We like to start about what we develop the plan, and then we want to start implementing that curiosity factor, if you will, with a full, if it's a retail type business, we want to have a full front window billboard, if you will. The entire window is covered with the menu items and or the types of workouts that they can get, or whatever is being sold, or whatever's on that menu of services for that business. We want that to be a spectacular, eye-popping, attention-getting window design. We will
Right.
design it and we'll provide the materials for the franchisee. It's an easy installation with static clings, but we want to start marketing that store and that what the brand and what are they going to sell, what are they going to offer. And we also like to have what we call a lead generation program. We like to initiate an enter to win a year of free pizza, for example, or a free membership for a year, or whatever that is, whatever
Right.
that magic offer is.
Right.
Anytime you offer something for a year, enter to win a year of, it has high perceived value
Right.
and it really attracts a lot of attention. And we put that on the front door,
Yeah.
and we'll have enter to win a year of free pizza, for example, with a client we just worked with, and he'll have a text keyword and number for them to enter right there as they're walking by the store before it ever opens, maybe a month or 6 weeks before the store opens, or they can go to the business's Facebook page and enter that way. We usually will have, if we can start 60 days in advance, we usually have over 1,000 opt-in cell phone numbers and email addresses of people that have entered. That's our database, and that's before opening day. That's before the store opens. And what we do is we market to that database 3 or 4 days before it opens, letting them know that Wednesday, July 18th is opening day, and we'll usually send them several SMS text messages or email addresses or email messages, letting them know what opening day is and what the special offer is and who the charities are that we're partnering with and that sort of thing. And that is how you get a store off the ground. That's how you have a store full of customers and a line out the door on opening day. And I'll give you
Right.
an example.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I'll give you an
Yeah.
example.
Please do. You give us more. Yeah.
Title Boxing Club open. We were working with them. They were one of our clients. We set a lot of membership records with them. And the franchisee, Dan Ozzo, opened his club. And because we did and he followed through some of the local things that he had to do, and we had the Facebook going, Facebook ads and Instagram and so on and so forth. We had this Enter to Win campaign going. The day that he opened, I called him. He said, "I can't talk to you, John. I've got 200 people here in the club and down the sidewalk lined up waiting
Wow.
to join.
That's great.
Talk to you in a couple of days." So, I mean, that's the power
Yeah.
of this aggressive pre-opening program. So
Right.
we highly recommend it, and it's kind of a cornerstone of our opening launch program. And as you said, a lot of businesses wait till the build out is finished. They have the staff on board, and they don't even think about the marketing until the first day they open. They go, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do for customers?" All of that is taken care of with our opening, launch, and grand opening marketing program. You're going to have built-in customers the day you open, and if it's a home a home services type business, you're going to have a lot of appointments lined up the day you start the business. A dog grooming business, for example, they're not open yet, but we're going to have this design on the window of pups and dogs with self-service grooming or full service grooming. And we have on there, enter to win a free membership, a year free membership with our club, and use the QR code to schedule an appointment for your pup.
Yeah.
They're going to have 2 or 3 weeks of appointments lined up before they ever open the doors. And that's the key to success.
That's really great. I mean, and this is the biggest question I think on everybody's minds now that we're talking about this, because it sounds like a lot of work and it sounds like a lot of planning. Let's talk about cost to do this, right? So if we're looking at a 4 to 6 month pre-marketing strategy and plan to implement, how much should a franchisee typically allocate to something like that?
Well, actually, we're looking probably at about a 4 to 5 month program, 2 months
Okay.
for the pre-opening, and then a month for the soft opening or the now open phase. Okay. And then after they've been open for 45 days or so, then we roll into the grand opening, and we like for that to be 2 or 3 weeks. So all together, it's probably about a 4, maybe a 5 month program. Okay. So it's not a weekend program. It's not a 1 week program. It's a 4 month program. And every franchisor should include in their FDD that the franchisee is required to spend $10,000 on that opening launch program, minimum of $8,000. Mm-hmm. Now, some FDDs required $2,500 to $5,000. Well, guess how much that franchisee is going to spend? More than likely, they're going to spend the lower number. So you can't approach, you got to better define how much they are to invest. After all, this is like an insurance policy to get customers in the door. This is an insurance policy of success. The franchisees already spent a lot of money on the build out and the franchise fees and so on and so forth. And you were asking them to spend about $8,000 to $10,000 to invest in the success of their business. That $8,000 to $10,000 represents less than 1% of their total investment.
Right.
So, I think they need to be at that $8,000 to $10,000 mark in order to get the job done that needs to be done over a 4-month period.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with you there, because I think what I like to call it is foundational marketing, right? Because if you're listening to this as a franchise owner, or even as a small business owner that's not a franchise, your grand opening will set the foundation for the future of your business. Because if you're a fitness studio or a yoga studio or a boxing gym or whatever, and you can get 200 people in your doors that grand opening day, those 200 people are going to tell 5 or 10 friends, and that's going to continue to build your business over the next 5 to 10 years. Right, John? So right. This really lays the foundation for word of mouth, referrals, more business, more marketing, more partners, more suppliers. It's laying down the foundation for your entire marketing plan for the rest of your business career.
It sets the tone of the business,
Right.
and we have opening day,
Yeah.
opening day, and then we have grand opening.
Right.
Grand opening is usually about 45 days after opening day. So just don't want to get the two mixed up. I want there to be a distinction for our listeners that opening day is critical. That's the first day you're open for business. And that's the day we want to have, just a ton of people in that business and ready to order or ready to sign up. But you're right.
I think, and just what's interesting about this day and age now is that 50 years ago we didn't have texting, we didn't have email. Now, because we live in a society of getting data on people, customers, we're lucky now that we can get phone numbers, we can get email addresses, we can find out demographic information. So being able to text those people after you've established and you've set up your business, and that's huge, right, John? Because you've been doing it a while. You've seen the evolution happen. It's the game is totally different than it was 30 years ago.
Well,
right?
that's right, Ryan. And one thing that we want to do, I want to emphasize that this enter to win opt-in lead generation campaign, enter to win a free membership to a fitness club, or enter to win a year of free, pizzas or salads or whatever. It's not just for the pre-opening. We want that to continue because we want to continue building that database. We want this enter to win opt-in lead generation campaign that we're going to have a 30-second video. It's going to be on Facebook and Instagram, and we're going to really promote this enter to win campaign, not only for the pre-opening, but we're going to continue to promote it all the way through the grand opening. And then at the grand opening, we want to draw a winner. Now, after that, we want to continue with that campaign because we want it maybe with a different offer or a different type of campaign. We want to continue to build that database. We want to have initially, before a store opens, we should have 1,000 or more in that database of future customers that we're going to announce this opening. And then afterwards, we want to continue that campaign because we want to continue building that database. We want to have 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 in that database, and then it really doesn't cost anything to market to those people. We'll design the text message and the email messages. We'll send them out, minimal cost for that, and so it's a key component to the success of a new business.
Well, I want to wrap up this part one, John, and everybody listening, you listening out there. We're going to have 2 more episodes to cover specifics on how John works with grand openings and what to do with your grand openings. So you're going to want to listen to those as well, and feel free to share this with your friends and family as well who are in business. But before I wrap it up, John, and people are going to have questions, I'm sure. And I also want to give a shout out to the IFPG because we're both members, and it's a great organization. If you are in the franchise space, check out IFPG. But John, tell us where people can find you and how they can reach you. And then let's continue on the next part after this.
Absolutely. First of all, they can go to our website, which is impactmarketingservices.com.
Okay.
And they can contact me, John, John, at impactmarketingservices.com, and request an opening launch marketing program guide. We've developed a free marketing guide for new stores and this opening, launch, and grand opening marketing program that highlights what we discussed today and what we will be discussing in parts 2 and 3. I think it's fairly valuable. They can also reach me, call me or text me at 602-318-3008, 602-318-3008. Be glad to answer any and all questions. There's no obligation. And we just want to help new franchisees and current franchisees just become more successful.
And not only that, but the franchisors who are opening. I know franchisors care about grand openings as well. So if you're a franchisor and you're listening, please reach out to John as well if you have questions. John, it's been a good part 1. I'm looking forward to part 2 and 3 with you. Thanks again, and let's keep this going.
Great, Ryan. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're interested in becoming an episode sponsor, please email me at livingryan@gmail.com. And thank you so much.